of Humboldt County. I've been out here now for, well, since I moved out here during the pandemic. I've been coming up to Humboldt County for probably about 10 years. My oldest son moved out here when he left home at 21. So, yeah, I've been coming out to Humboldt for a while. And I moved out here when I had grandchildren. So I've now been in Humboldt County since 2020. Yeah, 2020. And I'm looking to buy some property out here now. So,
Nice. For
yeah.
those who don't know, we are reunited. Miss, oh, we are reunited. Before last time we
Yes.
talked, I was going through a liver transplant. It was before. I looked horrible. I was all gaunt, and it was just horrible. And you, see, speaking to you, you helped save my life.
Aw.
You're my kinky
I'm,
friend. And
aw, yes.
I was talking about that with you. But, during the transplant, these interviews really helped me going. So please, everybody watching, please, with utmost respect, you will obey Kaya Anais. This
Oh,
Kaya Anais.
yes, you will.
Oh, utmost. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
I am wonderful and so happy to be back here with you, Nicholas. I really enjoyed our last conversation, and I'm so looking forward to telling you about all the changes that have been happening in my world.
Please, I can't wait. So I'm gonna start it off. What's inspiring you these days?
Mm. I get inspiration from a lot of different places. Looking a lot of times just on my social media and seeing these really amazing women just that work so hard to bring themselves to be perfect for all of these males in the world, and it really inspires me to be better, to try harder. And so some of those ladies that I find really inspiring and help me to be inspired to become the best Femdom mistress that I can be. One of those ladies would be Mistress Tara Indiana. Another one is Jewel Marceau. I really enjoy. She's been around for a really long time, and she really inspires me a lot. Um, and Mistress Genevieve is another one that I recently met through Miss Tara, and I find that really inspirational. How long they've been in the industry, what they have to say when they're talking about their experiences. Some other things that I find inspiring, just nature,
Definitely.
plants.
Yes. Of
I
course.
I've
Being around
recently,
life is inspiring.
yeah,
And
I've
shout out to
recently,
Genevieve.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Genevieve. We're gonna do we're next week, this Sunday. We're coming for you. Her and Anna, the pegging episode.
Nice.
We're doing a whole episode on pegging.
Awesome.
Yes. I'm sorry. I
I
gotta
love
say.
it. I've recently found my new love for plants. It's something I've always really wanted to get into. And after this pandemic and moving up here, I just really started to find my own connection and just playing with the earth, playing with the dirt. I'm going to be part of a community garden with my family. We're going to just do a nice big plot of land and do our vegetables and have chickens and ducks and get back to the earth and get away from, constantly having to get my vegetables and my fruit from a supermarket when I could just
Yes.
have a little plant.
It makes a
So that's
difference.
been really inspiring.
It makes a difference. And when I was sick, we had a garden. I lived with a bunch of people. We had this huge garden, and all the fresh food. The doctors and the nutritionists said that made the difference. It really did.
Yeah.
Food, nutrition. So having fresh foods and growing it yourself, like you doing
Yeah.
it, you making it. It's beautiful. Just
Yeah.
life. Let's look at some comments. We got CC saying, "Hi, goddess. You are very beautiful. You are." PD. Warm greetings to you, Goddess Kaya. It's Kaya Anais, correct?
It's Kaya. Anais.
Kaya
That's correct.
Anais. As Anais Nin. I'm trying to find my copy of Henry and June. Because I'm a fan of The Spy in the House of Love and Henry Miller and Anais Nin
Uh,
and all that stuff. Anyway,
mhm,
I
mhm.
humbly bow down at your feet and welcome you, PD says.
As you should.
Should Chris Bakos, greetings, goddess, and Nick. Hi, Chris. Stan Vladimir says, greetings, Miss Kaya, and being with Mother Nature herself. So, okay, so is very inspiring. Remind us of your specialties. Last time we talked, hypnotism was a big thing, and I would like to talk more about that. But you're more than just a hypno dom. What other things do you do?
Um, so I am a certified master hypnotist. I actually it was on my pathway to becoming a dominatrix. The first stop was taking hypnosis classes because at the time I didn't know where I could find someone that I wanted to walk this path with, a dominatrix, to kind of show me. I felt like it's not something I wanted to just jump into because it's really easy to hurt somebody. And I'm
Yes.
down. I don't want to harm you. I will hurt you gladly, but harming you, that's another story. So that's really was really important to me. Also, one of the first things that I thought about when I started to walk down this pathway of being a dominatrix, which actually started in 2015, 2016, but I didn't start moving this direction past reading books and thinking about it until about 2017. That's when I started domination or hypnosis online. I went to the Hypnosis Motivational Institute, and then I retook their course and I did their residency. That's how much I love hypnosis.
Nice.
Then, yeah, so we kind of talked about this before, but I'll brush everybody up. My background is medical
Please.
massage therapy, and that was where I actually became known as a Dom for the first time. Was by my patients. They called me the Dom of massage. So I like hurting people in ways that make them feel better when it's over.
I like that.
um,
I like hurting people in ways that make them feel better. That's a quote right there.
I
um,
love it. My first
before
quote.
before we go on, I want to just say I'm going to ask you to tell some stories, of course, and when you do, I can remove myself from the screen, like,
Oh.
and then I can bring myself back. So if you see me if talking, okay, because
Okay.
no one wants to look at me, they all want to look at you.
Oh,
All
I
right, let's
like
go
it.
down to
Then
the.
you, okay.
All right, PD asks, do you have domestic slaves, goddess? That's a good question.
Oh, would you like to see what's at my feet right now? He was actually like this just a moment ago. So that is my first slave. He's actually was he was my first foot slave. And the way we met was a fat life. He sent me a really cute message. And it wasn't just hi, goddess. It was hi, goddess. I have read everything about you. And I know you're really interested in doing video stuff. So I went on your Amazon. I saw that you wanted to buy some lights and I bought them for you. And when they arrive, I would love to hear from you. That was our first conversation. Oh gosh, 4 years ago. And we met. I took him on as a personal. He had to pay a tithe every 2 weeks. I first looked at his ability to pay and then chose him because of his honesty, his integrity, and his desire to just really be a true submissive, even if it was hard for him, what I was asking of him. And 4 years later, he now lives with me and he is my domestic slave.
Spike Chastity asks, do you have rules, rituals, protocols that you'd like to enforce with your slaves?
So protocols. I love protocol. It's something that I'm still working on. In my own space because I feel that my personal nature is really kind of happy and carefree, but at the same time, as soon as you do something that I don't want done, it is instant. I want you to be exactly like this. So protocol for me right now is when he comes home from his work, he works away from home 5 days. And when he comes home, he immediately has to drop to his knees and kiss my toes. He then undresses. I want him to be in a collar, and I'm going to make something special. It's just probably going to look like um, a cloth that you keep covered on the bottom, so for cleaning and different things. And then the other rules that I have him, he sleeps at my feet or he sleeps on the floor next to my feet. If I'm unhappy with him, you get timeouts naked in my corner. And I like to use canes for punishment. And I like to use rawhide for punishment. Um, I also am very interested in chastity. I love to control my slave's entire life. I want to know what you're doing, when you're working, when you're not working, how you're eating, what you're eating. If you're not eating healthy enough, those things all have to change. So I am protocol. I'm more life management protocol, I think I would kind of say, because I really enjoy controlling the aspects of your life that help you to become a better person. Now, ritualistically, I think I like to engage in hypnosis, and I use a lot of meditation and hypnosis with my slaves, teaching them to breathe and to be calm and patient. And he was massaging my feet down there. He just got back from working and he wasn't feeling good. So I also believe that my slaves need rest. The two things that I believe are very important for a mistress to give her slave is to be well fed and have good sleep so that you can work hard. Do
You
you
be
think
well
that did
fed.
I miss any questions in there? Or did I think
No,
I
you
answered
did.
it?
You answered more than enough. It was wonderful. Let's see what people say.
Yeah, why?
Sunshine. Oh, I love sunshine. I like Miss Kaya. I will gladly hurt you, but I don't want to harm you. Well said. I wrote that down. Definitely. Sunshine. I'm all about painful massage that gives me beneficial results. PD.
Exactly.
That lucky slave should be down at your feet down there. And then he's back. Spike. Chastity. When having a sub in Chastity, are you more into constantly teasing him to have him as frustrated as possible, or forget his desires to have him focused on yours?
Chastity is a good one right now.
Locked.
Locktober. Shout out to all the slaves and subs lucky enough to be locked in a cage with a mistress. And if you're not, then you should be coming to see me. Let's talk a little about chastity. I think it depends on the individual. In my personal space, for my personal slaves, I expect chastity. And I find that when I have you locked up, the longer you go, the more interested you just become in anything I want, whether I'm forgetting about you or teasing you, because you're not touching yourself. And then I want to touch you even more because there's that connection and I have control of your orgasm. And the true way to control a man is controlling his orgasms and controlling his wallet. It doesn't even have anything to do with financial domination. It just means that if someone is truly interested in you and they understand what submission really means, they understand that you can't truly submit if you are holding back what means the most to you, which is orgasms and the money you make working so hard.
The true way to control a man is through his orgasms and his wallet. Wise words. We didn't even get to my questions. Well, that's what we did. But okay, so you're in Humboldt County, California.
Wait.
You talked about it. Oh,
1 second. I just want to say one more
sure.
thing about chastity because I didn't
Yeah.
quite answer the
Please.
question
Oh, let's talk
in
about chastity
full.
more.
I
Okay.
love chastity.
Hey, I'm in it
What
now.
I love hearing that you're in chastity. Um, the longer someone is in chastity, the more your body just feels, right? So as a massage therapist, I became so in tune with being able to feel your body that they called me a body mechanic, because that's what I do. I work your body the way you would go to a mechanic to take care of your car. I translate that into taking care of my slaves by saying, the more you're willing to give up what matters the most to you, the more I know you really care about me. And so we're going to take this orgasm that you've always been able to do whatever you wanted with. You touch it whenever you want. And we're going to take that out of the equation. And I'm going to teach you how to breathe. And I'm going to teach you how to focus your energies and to exercise, into serving me, into sending to me, into making yourself a better person so you can be a better slave to me. That's what I believe chastity is about. And that makes me want to engage you.
Yes, interesting.
One question for you. How long have you been in chastity?
Oh, so right before this interview. Seriously, right. I took a shower. She came upstairs. She actually took me by the hand. I'm like, I've been prepared for the interview. She looks at me, and is like, "You're missing something." Grabs my hand, walks me up the stairs. Right, gets the metal device, custom made metal, and she's like,
Nice.
"Watch this." Right, and we just used it yesterday. We've been using it. It's Locktober, so we're using it all the time. Yeah.
Nice. Very good.
Chastity, thank you, Mss Kaya Anais, for your wonderful answers. Yes.
You are
Thank
welcome.
you. So, okay, so we'll get to hypnosis, but we're talking about chastity. It's October. All right.
Well,
Things
hypnosis
change.
goes with chastity too.
We're gonna talk about that definitely. I want to talk about the Sissy hypno narrative. Yeah, we'll get to that. But what we're talking about? Okay, chastity, silicone, metal, or plastic?
I think it depends on what you do for a living. Silicone is really effective when you work in a place that has metal detectors, or you're traveling a lot and you're traveling in a business sense where you don't want to, have someone else find out. There's a lot of people who can't live this lifestyle in the ways that, we all want to. I mean, I'm out with my whole family. So nobody in my life doesn't know what's going on, and I like it that way. So
it's
it
so
doesn't make
relaxing.
life great. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about shit. I don't have to lie.
Right?
I don't want to lie. I'm an honest person. So to be like, yeah, I told you I'm like this. I'm into some weird shit. So join in the party or don't come.
Exactly. My daughter-in-law was here right before we started talking, and I told her exactly what I was doing. Pulled it up, and she read what you're about, and I was like, this is great. This is how you help people to understand. Not everybody can do that, and so for those people, I think that it's important to recognize that when you're doing chastity and work is involved, you use whatever method is best.
Yeah.
I like metal. Give me a steel cage.
There's a permanent. Is there a specific brand that you like?
So to be completely honest, I haven't gotten my own first cage. This one here is soon to be getting his cage just done. I haven't been able to get him in one yet. It took a while to get this one to really understand. And I think some things you have to have patience with because you don't know what someone has come from. So depending on what my slave comes to me, what their experiences were before, how they've been treated by others, whether or not they even have lived a life having a mistress, dom, or was it always trying to get some girl to do something for you and then feeling weird. And maybe you get her to do it, maybe she never talks to you again, or maybe she gets into it for a little while and then you got to go find another. Like those things matter. They affect you. And I'm not going to break someone down until I build them up. Mm-hmm. So first I have to make you understand that you are okay exactly as you are. The fetish in you, if you are a true fetish, which this one is, it's important to lean into what that person needs to feel confident that they're good. Because to look at someone and say, I'm sorry you've always been told that you're a person. And I understand, excuse me, let me say that's not the right way. I understand that you've always been told that you're a person. And I'm here to let you know that what you really are is a slave. And you're no better than this carpet. You're no better than this couch. You're no different than this table. You're no more important to me than this window right here, unless you show me that you are.
Yeah.
And that for someone, for some it's okay, but for some you might completely devastate some. And some slaves, they've been through a lot, and they feel broken in ways that are hard to understand. So I want to rebuild you, and then I'll tear you down.
Yeah.
Because you always know you have that space.
We have Stan Vladimir, our good friend Stan Vladimir, who does the artwork. During Aftercare, my mistress, I introduced her to all kinds of different play styles. One of them was Chastity play. She never heard of it and was ecstatic. Wow.
Nice.
So, and then PD, does having a 24/7 slave feel tiring for you, goddess? Or does this constant power, is that what?
Well, that's a really, really good question, PD. And, I actually wanted to follow up on an earlier question that Nicholas was asking, what inspires me? And I have to say, taking on a personal domestic slave full time, it inspired me to become a better mistress. It inspires me to work harder to become the type of dominatrix that can truly help someone understand how to see themselves. And yes, it can be very tiring, which is why I have a maximum of 4. So at the moment, I have 3 open positions that I have still yet to fill. And that's a lot of work. It's something that I want, though. So the first slave is like the first child. They're usually a lot harder. It gets easier after that. That's what I've learned.
let's find you the 3 new slaves for you. Where? All right. First of all, location. Where is location a factor?
In the beginning, no. And how I meet them actually isn't either. Like, I don't necessarily think that, you're going to meet someone in one particular setting. So say I'm doing sessions with someone, and we've been doing sessions for years. We've gotten to know each other, and that transitions. That's a little harder transition, because if it doesn't work out, now you just lost sessioning with someone. And so that's why a lot of mistresses, rightly so, don't like to blend those, because on the one hand, you might like that person, but a year down the road, something that's been going for 4 or 5 years might end because it doesn't work on the domestic side, and it might be harder to pull back. Yeah. So to put back the other way. And I've actually seen, I hear that can be an issue for men. And that's why I think it's important to address these things. It's important that slaves understand why we make the decisions we make. Why I don't answer Twitter DMs? Because they're blown up and nobody's listening. I say, I built a website. I didn't even know how to build a website. I built it. Go there.
Yeah, go to the source.
Yeah, it's a simple thing, but we have reasons why we do the things that we do. So I might have just gone off topic.
That's all right. There's no. This is a loose. Who are you talking to here? I've ADHD. I interviewed as ADHD sex therapist for ADHD. I have ADHD myself. The tangents we went on. Oh my god. I can't even find the episode. So.
God, I need that episode in my life.
Shahid Kapoor, have you ever trampled the male? The male. Have you ever trampled the male? Have you ever trampled the male?
The male. The one beneath my feet gets trampled. These shoes I have on are his favorite. So, this one right here gets trampled with my feet and my shoes. And I don't know if you can see it well, but this one right here, this is how he lives. And yes, he gets trampled naked with my heels. Sometimes it might be a little bloody.
I want to use that as a quote too. Sometimes it may be a little bloody, and that evil laugh, an adorable evil laugh. That's great. And of course, it wouldn't be your Kinky Friend show without Gary123 asking, "Do you like barefoot ball busting?"
Oh, I love barefoot ball busting. I'll tell you.
Okay.
One of my first like ever ball bustings where I used it. So some of you may know who Mistress Tara Indiana is. I've been an apprentice of hers for the last 3 years or so. And she taught me in one of her classes. She teaches classes in LA, and she's always looking for slaves to be dummies for the ladies. She taught a ball busting class, and soon after that, I was meeting this one down here, and he had upset me. I was disappointed in him, and we were at a Whole Foods in San Diego, and I just had him get down on his knees. We were right there in front of everybody, and I just took my foot and boom, and then got in my car and left him right there. And to this day, that's his favorite experience and the most scary. He stood there with everybody staring at him, and he's just looking around, doesn't even know what to do with himself. And I think he cried for the rest of the day.
And I think he cried for the rest of the day.
As he should.
As he should. As he should. Okay, we got some other questions before. We got questions to do. Shahid wants you to walk on them. PD says, what intrigues you more, goddess? Physical pain or humiliation?
Oh. Well, you were dealing with kind of two different things there. So the humiliation, depending on what type of humiliation we're talking about, intrigues me because it's very mentally focused. And I have to say, I am not the humiliation queen. It's something I'm still working on. And my inspiration in that space is Princess Kali. Princess Kali. I read her book on humiliation, and it was the reason that I recognized I could get into this, because I understand that humiliating someone, as long as you give them that space for the aftercare, should they need it, that it's great. So I really love playing with the mind, and so humiliation is fun. Physical pain can be humiliating, kicking in the balls in the middle of a store parking lot and then being left there. That's pretty humiliating, and it's pretty painful when you're down on your knees because you can't get up. I really enjoy physical pain because I think I can see the beauty of my work in my marks, and I can see the responses in a different way. Mentally, when I'm humiliating him, I really enjoy watching him cry just from the things I'm saying. And oftentimes it's the truth. And I think for me, the way Mistress Tara describes me, she says, I say the quiet things out loud and that I cut men off at the balls. And I was really proud of that. So I think I would have to say both.
PD asks, what is the most humiliating thing you have ever done to a slave or sub?
That's kind of, what's the most humiliating thing? Gosh, I think that would be my slaves to answer. What's the most humiliating thing you think I've ever done to you?
In the parking lot.
That was the most humiliating? Oh, I'm going to have to work on that. He says the most humiliating thing I've done so far is the parking lot. I have some work to do, don't I?
You had me get down on my knees in the store.
That's nothing. I think the most humiliating thing for me that I thought was humiliating and was something that was kind of playing with boundaries, which I actually thought this was going to be what he said. I'm really big into into full toilet training. I like it. It's fun. And so one time, like, he's very not into toilet training, and I brought him in. I was very upset. He was in trouble. He disappointed me, and so I wanted to play with his boundaries. So I first made him kneel on rice in a corner in a closet, and I shut the door in the closet and left him in the closet kneeling on rice, uncooked. And then after about 20, 30 minutes, I took him in the bathroom, crawled him into the bathroom with his little leash. Now, we were in an Airbnb, and it just got there, and I knew it was clean. I put his head in the toilet. I lifted up that toilet seat, and I put his head in the toilet, and I said, lick that toilet. And he looked up at me, and he said, mistress, but it's outside my boundaries. I said, is it a dirty toilet? Did anybody go to the bathroom in there? Is that outside your boundaries then? No, mistress. And he had to lick that toilet. So for me, to some, it's not really that big of a deal because the toilet could be dirty, but for the person that I was dealing with, it was a big deal. And also, that's how you can play with boundaries and find out if you can get someone to go further later.
That's true. I have a segue to that actually. But first of all, I've knelt on rice on this show while doing the word association game. Yes, it's not fun at all. It's torturous. It was during the sadism episode where I interviewed a bunch of sadistic people. Shahid Kapoor asked, "What's your Instagram?"
Oh, Instagram is Kaya Anais with the underscore as the same as it is on Twitter. You will find I'm not a huge presence on there, mostly because my life is busy and I have a hard time spending time trying to check up and keep up with notifications and thinking of things to say. But I'm kind of having a slave is also helping me get better at that because I have more things that I'm thinking about that I might want to shout out there. But usually I go to think about it, and 3 days later, I still have a message that I never hit send on. So
I'm the same way. It's not. It's a mess. So I want to ask you about the chastity, and then lead into the sissy hypno thing. Basically.
Yes.
All right. So with chastity, first of all, what do you like better, putting a chastity on someone who hasn't come yet, or right after they came?
Oh, it's so much more fun not to let you come.
Ouch. Okay. So,
however, that being said, I do believe that I lead with what works best for my slaves. Some slaves need to be able to come, and that's great. And I'm all about it. I love to bring huge, massive orgasms. However, I think that it's a really good idea that men always go a little while, because when you're getting too many orgasms, then you're not letting your body build up that desire, that need isn't building. And the more it builds, the more I find the dedication, and it's the dedication that I want. So for me, orgasms are to be used to get the results I want. And if that means someone comes every couple of weeks, or someone comes every few months, or someone never comes ever, then so be it. We're just going to play and see what works best between us. Does that answer that?
Oh, without a doubt. There is the sissy hypno narrative when a woman takes a man, puts him in chastity, and actually uses hypnotism to sissify the person. You love sucking cock. You love having this dildo in your ass. You love you love being in chastity, so to speak. So is that the narrative that you play with?
Well, I have had a hypnosissy for the last, we're almost going on 2 years now, I think. I think Yeah, this November is gonna mark 2 years that we have been playing on a monthly basis. We do 2 calls on Skype a week during the weeks. Excuse me, 2 calls a month, video calls, and one in-person 3-hour session, and that is so fun for me. I think that when playing with hypnosis, it's not just teaching you that you have to suck cock all the time. The fun I get to play with is um, letting you. So I'm going to use Nicholas. Letting Nicholas's mind drop into this wonderful place where you're just drifting in this relaxation. Your mind just feels completely white and you can see everything going on. It's like you're sitting on a bench, staring out of a one way mirror. You can't say anything, you can't do anything, but what's happening to you is happening and you're not in control. Right now, Sarah's in control. Sarah's taking control of you, and you are Sarah, and Sarah is you. And so you can really play with the dynamics of bringing Nicholas to a place where you have no memory of what we've engaged in or done. Only Sarah will have that memory until I allow Nicholas to have that memory too. Really
Okay, so
creating that female
with inside
mindset.
someone else. Now,
Exactly.
what I'm very curious is the character arc when it comes to Sissy Hypno, and because I've met people in the kink community recently, and only in a couple months later, they're different. They're different people. They're like they feel enlightened in many ways, and I see their change. I see how they change. So when it comes to hypnosis specifically, how have you seen the people change from like the first time, when they first come to you, to the way they are now? Like, how fast is that metamorphosis? How, like, what kind of change do you see? I would love for you to expand on that if you could.
So I first will say I don't have a lot of sissies. I have a few online, and I have my that I've been with for 2 years. Not sure why I don't have too many more of them yet, but I believe everything comes to me in the time and space that it does. This is what I would say about that. I think that the progression that I see just in my slaves who stay with me, whether they transform into sissies or dogs or just become more submissive, is that the more you engage in in moving through this exploration of your own self identity, that shadow self that we hold inside, that we're so afraid to talk to our partners about. How is this person going to respond to me? Will they never speak to me again? And knowing that you find a place where who you are is right where you feel you want to be, feeling like you are just nothing but a doormat to be stepped on, to lick the bottom of dirty shoes all night long, and all of these things. This is who you are. To be dressed in a princess outfit, a little slutty outfit, to have boobs implanted, your face done, to see yourself made up as you see yourself in your imagination, to explore that and to see the reality of how that makes someone feel, to recognize that it's okay to feel this way. It's okay for me to be who I am in this space. That helps bring out who you really are because we're hiding ourselves. When we walk around pretending that the only thing we want is one woman or one man and all I need is traditional sex, that is okay for those who are that way. There are people who are definitely just into one person and they don't need other things. That's vanilla, and vanilla is a lovely, wonderful flavor. I like to mix it up a little more.
I do
Does that
too.
answer that?
Oh, without a doubt.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
Sunshine has a question, and she asked, when someone's scared, I want to kind of reword the question. Basically, she was like, how do you hypnotize someone when they show fear. You know, they are consensual, but originally they're like and I think it's just like that could be translated to any part of the kink community. You know, going to a munch for the first time, going to a dungeon,
Oh yeah,
seeing a dominatrix for the
definitely.
first time. There's always, so what is that little push when that person, even though it's consensual, the subject is a little hesitant. What is that thing that you could say just to kind of push them along? I love it.
Um, it's taken me a little while. As you know, when I first started, I get really excited and really happy, and you're here. And the first couple of times, I had a new person who'd never experienced anything, and they're just like, "Wait a minute, you're gonna do what to me?" And so I realized I have to take it back a little. I can't be so excited. I have to judge the person coming into me. I need to read the room too. And I need to read your responses. And so I look at your body language and I I like to touch a lot. So one thing that I believe helps people to relax is to be touched. And um, the way that you touch is important. It's with intention. And my intention is to show you that I am here to walk you through and to explore with you and to give you a place where it is safe to live this experience that you might have been dreaming about for a year, 10 years. For some, it's an entire lifetime. You might have never engaged and you're 67 years old and you've never played in person and you want to have this experience, whether it's hypnosis or domination or uh, just meeting me at a bar. um, the way that I do that is through my voice. I just have a naturally soothing voice and I smile and I let you know that tell me how you're feeling right now and we talk about it.
Okay. I get it. I get. I was about to just tell you all about how I was feeling about what was going on in my life.
Yeah, I've always been told that I have a nurturing voice and a
You
soothing
do.
voice. That's what my patients used to say. They would just be like, "You're just so
That's kind
soothing."
yeah.
I think
All
it
right.
works to
So
help people not be afraid.
you I want to talk about using hypnotism for good. Just like every party, there's always a person who can, you know, cause a bad time, you know.
Hmm.
And there are some hypnotists out there who I've met who are not using their power for good, let's say. You know,
Hmm.
A, how are you using it for good? And B, how can we tell if someone is, you know, their intentions are good or bad?
Um, that's a really good question. Let's see. How do I use hypnosis for good, and how can I tell if the intentions are good or bad? So I think the way you can tell what someone's intentions are is by listening to that voice inside yourself, um, and seeing how they're being. And take note to this. Mr. Star was the one who really helped me understand this. I don't take stock in people who are nice. I take stock in someone who is kind. Because when someone is kind, that's coming from the heart. Someone's nice. Oh, and just let me help you with that. Oh, I'll do that. Yeah, that's really great. It's easy to pretend. It's harder to pretend to be kind. It's kind of something that just happens. And you can see that if you pay attention to how people treat other people. And if we don't understand what the difference is between kind and nice, because a lot of us don't, having grown up in a world not necessarily knowing the difference, um, do some research because it's important to understand that difference. How I would do good with hypnosis. So I see someone at a party who isn't is kind of getting rambunctious, and I might go to that person and put my hand on their shoulder, and I get close to your ear. That's another way that you calm someone down. You get right up in your ear And you might say something like, did you come to a submissive party? How long have you been a submissive? Do you know what that means? If I'm in that setting, if I'm in a traditional party setting, I might come up to them, put my hand on their shoulder and say, hi, how are you today? And smile, depending on who it is. That can do a lot. Sometimes I might use, and you might not realize that that's hypnosis, but hypnosis has to do with the tone in my voice, how I'm touching you, how I speak to you. Tell me how you're doing. Did something bother you tonight? Do you want to talk about it? You can unwind a lot just by asking someone what's happening in their space. And I think when I do parties with Mistress Tara, the last one was my birthday party that we did, and I do a hypnosis. I do hypnosis stage performances at the parties, and we also have a door guy. And sometimes you can't always just do good. Sometimes someone might have been drunk, in which case hypnosis doesn't work when you are dealing with someone who's really drunk. And for someone who's just really out of it, sometimes you can be beyond what hypnosis can do, in which case that's what the bouncers are for. And Muay Thai.
I want to die under your feet, goddess, says Shad.
As you should, but not before giving me everything that you have.
Of course.
That requires a lifetime. Why would I want you to die so quickly?
Right? Oh, that's another thing about financial
I'll bring you
doms,
right.
is that financial doms, they think that, a lot of people think that financial doms want to just take all your money. That's not necessarily true, is it? It's not just because if you take all their money, there's nothing left.
There's nothing left. When
Yes.
I have guys who come to me and want me to blackmail them and divorce their wives and take their children's college funds, and I want to give it all to you, mistress. I don't want you. Why don't I want you? Because you're not being realistic. I want to live in a cardboard box for you. Well, that's not realistic because then you have nothing. And why would I want that? Here's the thing. This is what's important. A mistress has submissives and slaves to make my world an easier, more comfortable, more relaxed place where I get my hair, my nails, I go shopping on your wallet. Why? Because you are a slave and a slave has nothing. Because you're a submissive and you are nothing without me. But that doesn't mean that I want to take every dime and blow it so that you can be nothing and still be at my feet. But then I have to take care of you. It doesn't work that way. Here's what I give to you. What I give to you is the space to be a submissive, to be who you are, to acknowledge that you are a submissive and recognize there is no shame in your game. Who you are is a person who is a submissive. And now in this space, right here with me, you are less than my dog. When you walk out that door and you go to work, there, you are a person. Your identity is who you are. And here, with me, you give everything up.
And with that being said, back to hypnosis. I was watching Get Out.
I love that movie.
I was watching Get Out, and and some of this hypno doms I know use fear.
Mm-hmm.
Do you in your hypnosis consensual? Keep in mind, everybody, this is consensual. We're talking about consensual role play. So, in your consensual role play, how do you use fear in your hypnosis?
So, to be honest, I haven't played as much with fear yet. I use hypnosis fear with bondage when I'm hypnotizing someone, and I might hypnotize you to experience fear, to experience pain. I played more with that. And I've played more with playing with how to hypnotize someone so that they don't feel the pain while it's happening, and then they feel the pain after the fact. That's really fun. And you can do the same thing with fear. I don't engage in that as much right now. And there is a couple online, and I'm really, their names are escaping me right now. It's a couple that I've watched several times at Charmed, and they play a lot with fear. And I think I just still want to do some more research into it, because engaging in fear can really mess with someone. And so there's a lot more I want to do with it that I just haven't done yet. Again, I'm only 5 years. And only three of them have I really been practicing.
Arca Sika, the unfulfilled rays, asks, do you think that femdom is a lifestyle and spiritual more than anything else? If yes, how do you feel about that?
I think it matters on who it is. For me, I can only speak about me. And for me, it's a lifestyle. And for me, it's a religion. It's very spiritual. Um, it also really gave me my life back. And so we don't always understand that just as important as it is to find your nature as a submissive and a slave, it's just as important to find your place as Dom and realize who you are. And so what I would say about that is, oh, I think I lost. Okay. What I would say about that is, um, what is a lifestyle for me is I've always been a controlling woman. I've always been a woman who controlled everything in my space. It's in my home, it goes where I want it, and you're going to do what I want you to do. If you don't like that, then you're probably not going to stay in my home long. That's who I am. So I think for someone who has that naturally, it becomes a lifestyle because it's just how you engage with anybody around you. As far as spiritually and ritualistically and religiously, I'll say it this way. I am your goddess. I am your God. I am your religion. And I am everything that you worship. I am the reason that you wake up and get up and go to work and bring everything back to me, because your life is made better through me. Therefore, you worship me. I am queen, and I'm losing my ear.
Marco 9 comes in at the right time with his question, thoughts on SPH.
Small penis humiliation.
Thoughts on it?
Oh, how I love it. So, small penis humiliation. Very, very important to get consent, because it's really interesting how many men think they actually have small penises and they don't. But if that's what you're thinking, I'm going to ring with it, because there's always a bigger dick.
There
and
is always a big
and it's important for men to understand that most of you are capable of satisfying a woman. Really, most women need more than just one man, because some men are better with their wallets. Some men are better with the way you go out when you have really a good time and you just enjoy being around that person. And some men, usually those are the ones with the really small dicks too. Both categories, definitely. But even guys who have what a woman would consider is a quality penis, they think that what they have is all they need, and it's not. It's actually not. And because of the lack of understanding, all males should be caged. And then the woman decides when that cage is taken off and what size she wants, because every woman is different. So what your role is just listening. You get in the cage, and if you get used, then you know it's good enough.
So if everyone's caged, and it's
Oh,
Locktober,
man.
all men, and
Oh,
especially it's
man.
October, so it's a holiday.
I
It's
know.
a month. So how do you keep Locktober interesting for the dom, for the person, for the key holder? How do you keep the Locktober interesting for the key holder?
Um, wow. That's a good question too. Fix my fan. That's a good question too. I think the way that Locktober is kept interesting for us is through our enjoyment of watching all of you just be caged as you should be caged. And I I can't speak for all women, but I can speak for myself and a few others and say that it's a wonderful feeling knowing that there is 1 month out of the year that most men are locked in cages and not capable of causing any trouble. So I believe Locktober is a wonderful month. And the other way you keep
What
it interesting is it's more engaging. When you have someone locked in a cage, I'm more interested in engaging you, even if that is to come over and tie you up, put you in a bondage, leave you in a leather sleep sack, and set my feet on you and just watch you and not say anything to you. And then slide my hands along your body and grab my cage and twist it and listen to you scream for a second and then leave the room. Even if I don't engage you, it's still interesting and fun because I know that you're locked up and you're locked up for me and you're mine and I own you. That's what's interesting for me, the ownership and the control.
collected reader asks, what is your earliest experience that you had that you think got you into Femdom?
Ooh. um, I had a lot of really early experiences. um, uh, my first love was high heel shoes. And I don't just mean any kind of high heel shoe. It has to be a stiletto pointed pointed stiletto heel and I really like a curved toe or a pointed toe. And when I also, I'm 50. So for me, we still had the pinups and we still had the true stiletto. And so I was probably like, I don't know, I think I was 11 when I started trying to grab my mom's friend's shoes and I would be over and I would try them on and I would be like, they'd be like, oh, you want those? And I would take them home and hide them in my closet because, I grew up in a very religious home. So I always had to hide my high heel shoes. So that makes it something that you have to be ashamed of, something that you're not allowed to do. And so I think that was probably what was my beginning. And follow that up with I didn't know that I was a Femdom until I became a dominatrix. But I had for 20 years a slave who sent money to me anytime I called, whatever amount I wanted, it was there. And this is long before we had cell phones. So, and I didn't know what domination was at the time. I just knew that I had someone that would do what I wanted, and I loved it. It was about for
So
20 years.
we have a question. Medical massage therapy, right?
Ooh,
How has
yeah.
that changed over the years?
So when I use medical massage therapy, the reason that I use medical massage therapy is I trained in Florida, and I went to a school that was um, very passionate about teaching you how to heal people. And um, so I was just taught the term medical massage therapy because what I do is medical. The arena that I worked in, I worked with chiropractors, I worked with medical doctors, I worked with physical therapy. It was all under one roof. It was a rehab center where you would just get all the different care that you needed at one time. So it's not necessarily like how it's changed. What I
I
did was
understand that.
actually created my own style as well. So what I do is it's connective tissue work. And the reason that's different is because most people think deep tissue, where you just grind into someone's muscles. I use my fingers. It's a lot more tactile. And so you're working through the attachment to attachment, allowing you to really feel what's going on in someone's body. And how that changed for me into this is I still use all those same techniques touching people's bodies, and I can feel what's going on. And I kind of reset your body sometimes during sessions. But for the regular world, I've been out of that for about 10, almost 10 years now. So I don't know how they incorporate it.
I wanted to ask you, like, how can we incorporate massage into BDSM? I mean, there's the time, there's the subspace, there's the tying up and stuff like that. So how do you incorporate all that knowledge that you have of massage into a scene? Whereas people without that experience that you have may not be able to do or not think of.
Oh, that's such a fun question. I'm so glad you asked me that. So I'll tell you about my first pegging experience.
Please.
I I had been a dominatrix now in training for let's see, so there was the 2.5 years. So I only did my first pegging experience like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago now. So I go to do my pegging experience, and he wants to be treated like a slut. And I got my cage on, and I had this leather corset piece. It was like, oh, really sexy, but like hard boned and really hard to like do anything in. So I'm in the middle of this session, and I got his shoulders, and I'm like this, right? Fucking him. And I just can feel the knots in his shoulders. So I really get into it when I peg. I am pegging him, and I just couldn't take it anymore. I pulled that corset off, and I just took his body and I pulled it into me, and I literally just started massaging his back while I was fucking him.
That's a
It
great
was so
massage.
hot. I was like, I had my tits on him, and I'm like kissing and biting his neck and running my elbows up and down. I just was having so much fun. I love massage. Now
I
it
do
happens in
too.
bondage. It happens in bondage too. It happens pretty much in whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes I have sessions that just end up. I will have a submissive just be like, "Could you just give me a massage?" 'Cause I will do it when I see someone who's really whacked out bad, because I used to see people who nobody else could work on. So I can tell when your body is whacked out bad or when you just want a massage. And those are the ones that I think that I really kind of, you'll find that I'll be like, sure. But it's not a massage in the sense that I'm serving you. It's a massage in the sense that you're my submissive, and I want my submissive to be the best he can be for me. And this
Mm.
is going to make it so that he can, and I'm going to fix it. And he's also going to take care of me financially for what I just did. So I still keep it in the realm of how I want it to be. And I also play with Dom massage stuff too, but in more sensual kind of sensual side of things. And I don't know yet, but I do see myself kind of moving into some interesting spaces with sensuality and Femdom. I just haven't figured out how I want to do any of that. So I think it's an evolving process, and that's why I love coming on this show, because you really make me realize how I've grown in some ways, and also some things that I really want to get into or explore more.
That's awesome. That's good. With that note, you said something that really hit close to me because I see this in all my friends. You wrote Femdom, well said Femdom saved, um, gave me my life back. Can you
Yeah.
expand on that a little bit?
Ooh. So it is 2015, and I had been a massage therapist for about 13 years at that point. And I had really messed up my left side previously, a few years before that. And so I kind of worked through it, and I thought I was fine. And I had an incident where I was seeing somebody, and got they injured me in a really bad way, and it tore my shoulder. And but I didn't realize how bad it had affected me. So I was working, and I used to work with a lot of I worked a lot on athletes, football players, rugby players, things like this. And I had a leg in my left arm, and I heard my shoulder just ripping, and my arm isn't moving down, but my arm is just falling to the table. And I went to the emergency room, and the doctor told me, "You're either going to find a new career, or you'll never use your arms again, but you can't do this anymore." And that, for me, was really heartbreaking. It was like I felt, it was just a punch in the gut. And for a few years, I didn't really know what to do. I couldn't. I was a CBD um, dosing consultant, which I love. I love talking about CBD. I love talking about cannabis. I was one of the first cannabis massage therapists in California, and helping people understand those things, that helped me. But it wasn't fulfilling this need that I have to honestly touch people. Like, I've touched people all my life, and a cane on the cock in a cage. Uh, and so I think there was just this need for me to do something that engaged that interpersonal connection. And also, previous to being a massage therapist, I was an exotic dancer for like 15 years. And I have a previous history of being an online sex worker. So I've been in the sex work industry for most of my life. So talking and engaging in this way and touching people is something I knew very well. And so as I started to follow this pathway and looking into hypnosis and then looking into domination, it was finding my power to never let someone hurt me again. It was finding my space to understand that woman that the rest of the world sees as bossy, as dominating, domineering, that's not actually real. So yes, I am a boss, because I am the boss of my house, the boss of my life, and the boss of anybody who walks in it. And that's a good thing. That was really freeing for me. It was really freeing. My first pegging was really freeing. My first caning, first time I took a knife to someone's body and ripped candle wax off it. Oh, I got to tell you, I might talk about Mistress Tara a lot, but that's because that woman changed my life. And I would really love for you to talk with her. I know you're gonna love her too. And it helps you to realize that it's not just the slaves and the submissives who are finding their space. It's us too. When
Oh
you really
yes.
find out who you are, you
Hmm.
find out who you are as a woman, as a creature of this world. Because, total honesty, the only one who reproduces are the goddesses, period. Whether we see ourselves that way or not, the world does not move forward. The universe dies without a woman's uterus. Now they're probably going to come up with some creative, makeup for that in this wonderful world that we have that's helpful for some. But at the end of the day, the universe, to me, the recreation of the universe happens every time a woman gets pregnant. She creates the universe inside her body and then brings it to term. And that's how we get more of us.
Spike Chastity asks, "Do you think sissies should experience periods? If so, how?"
to make your sissy wear a pad. So one fun way is through brainwashing and hypnosis. You're just playing with that female energy and playing with. So we're all in some way or another at some level have a feminine and we have both energies in us. So we're just calling more to that feminine side and bringing it out. And then, yes, you just tell your sissies that you're a little sissy slut and you have a period. You're a woman. Every woman has a period, and every month you're gonna fucking stick this condom or this, excuse me, tampon in your sissy hole, and you're gonna walk around with it, or you're gonna wear this pad. You're going to wear these pads every single day, all fucking week, until I tell you otherwise. And I promise you, I will make sure there's cramps involved.
How are you going to make sure there's cramps involved? Wait, I'll leave that to the imagination.
There's some
But if you want
drinks.
to say, oh yeah, oh I'm sure there is. Now, last time we spoke, I quoted you, and you said, "Nailing cocks to a board is in my future." So, that was a couple years ago. I'm checking up on your status.
Keep doing that. I'm getting closer. Does
Okay.
piercing cocks with your heels count?
Well,
The
it's not
flesh
too nailed
of the
to a board,
cock.
but it's in the speaking. Welcome to the CBT segue. Speaking of CBT, what is the most brutal thing that you've done, either ever, recently, or that you've witnessed?
Mm. The most brutal things that I've witnessed. Oh, okay. So last year at Mistress Tara's party, there is a wonderful mistress named, what is her name? Lilith. I'll think of it in a minute. Mistress Lilith. And she loves to nail cocks to boards. And she had one of her slaves, she brought him and she put him on board. And then she nailed his whole cock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And she nailed his balls on both sides. So, Chris, that is brutal. I haven't done it.
Yeah.
Brutal for me is stepping on my slave's cock with the end of my heels, point of my heel, and stepping right on his cock and stepping all the way down and then just grinding my foot into his balls and cock until bleeding, until I've completely left part of his skin on the floor. And I love it. he always says, so it's fetish, and it's a real fetish. Like, he cannot come unless someone is actively putting their shoes on his cock and he's licking your shoe with his tongue. Like, there's a difference between fetish and kinky. Some of us are kinky and we want to play like that. What a fetish means is you're not going to get off any other way. Fun part about chastity is you can change that. Because when you are locked up long enough, when you haven't come long enough, you're going to come any way I want you to. And the first time that happens for someone who's never even been able to have like traditional orgasms the way that other people do, that's a rough thing. So to experience something and realize that you can go through something and that you can be changed in that way, that's behavioral modification. That's why taking an orgasm away is so important. That's why it might just be for a short period of time, but if you want to change how someone engages, eliminate the orgasm for as long as she feels she wants it eliminated. Lilith Cat. Lilith Cat. That is Mistress Lilith Cat. She's also a DJ. She is an amazing woman. She's also a tattoo artist. She's another lady that you need to have a chat with. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh,
yeah, there you
can
are.
you hear me? All right. Good. Stan Vladimir, I'm sorry, you couldn't hear me at all. Oh, it's a shame. Stan Vladimir asks if you could have any superpower, what would it be, and how will you use it in your kinky life?
I already have a superpower.
That's true. Please expand.
So, if I could expand on the superpower that I already have, which is the ability to get in your mind and make you completely fall in love with me. It's just a gift I've always had, truly and totally honestly, long before I ever learned hypnosis. And that is its own superpower. Expanding on that would be the ability to read your mind, because that would only allow me to control you even easier. But I can control your mind, and I can make you do what I want.
Collected Reader asks, since you like stomping on cocks, what are your thoughts on castration play?
Castration play. So I had a whole session that was going to be set up. We were going to do 3 hours, and he already got the best castration tool is actually a tool that you use for cows with this rubber band that you put in the device, and then it pulls and it stretches it out, and then you take the cock and you put it around it, and you can actually have somebody in those castration devices for several hours before you're actually going to do any real damage. So it is fun to play with the castration. But he was in the military and they called him away. So I still haven't gotten to do my castration session. But yeah, I'm all about castration.
Yeah,
However, I will say that I don't think every male should be castrated. Because when
I'm
you
glad you pointed
castrate
that
you,
out.
because see, I think the thing about castration is I don't get to have fun using the orgasm to make you do what I want anymore.
Yeah.
And that
That's
really
true.
is that's the reality of what it means to be a man. Is it's just like going to a gambling casino, and every time you pull that thing down, it's right before you win, right before that third seven comes, that you feel like you got it. That's when the dopamine hits, right?
Yeah.
For a male, it's right before you have that orgasm, which is why you can play with the orgasm and almost give it to him, or give a ruined orgasm, and that dopamine has hit and you've already taken the edge off.
Stan Vladimir says, what are your thoughts of medical play?
I did a 3-day course with Mistress Tara on medical play, covering everything from enemas to stapling. So I will give you another story. We did medical play weekend. We did medical play weekend, and we have this wonderful house slave And our house slave has nice big balls to work with, right? And we wanted to turn him into give him a female experience. So we were gonna staple push this penis up inside his balls, like wrap his balls over each other, right? And then push the penis up in there so it looks like a pussy, and then staple it all the way down. That's really, really, really painful. So I wanted to play with hypnosis and pain cessation. So I put him under and I did it. I've been working on playing with how to eliminate someone from feeling pain. And so that's fear will be next. So I put him under for a while and then we got the table ready and we bring him over to the table and put him back under. And a couple of times, he felt that stable and he would come up and he would like scream and he would drop down and he was out. And completely stabled him, brought him completely up and showed him his vagina stapled and he wasn't feeling pain. And then we put him back under and I woke him up and he felt all of the pain at one time. And then I put him back down and I took the pain away. And so that was one of our medical play experiences. Also, I love to play with saline, filling balls up and then kicking them in the balls. That's also really fun. Also, that's a safer way to do it. So it's because I've actually, in my early days when I didn't know what I was doing, I had they would just be like, kick me harder. And I not knowing anything. I'm just like, yeah. I'm having a blast with it. However, I also know that I can rupture you. So if I use saline and we play with filling them up a little bit, then we're not going to have that same issue of rupturing our balls. So yes, I love medical play. And I would like to do a lot more of it. And I also would like to do sessions with a slave who will pay to do sessions with Miss Chara to do some more private medical play classes. Oh, I love medical play. Give me blood.
Give me blood.
I
There's
did not
something so
know I was
visceral.
into that
I
until
get it.
I saw blood play the first time and I felt, oh my God, it was like this rush. I was just like, I'm clawing even harder. And I'm just like,
It's life liquid. It's life liquid. That's what it
yes.
is. So it's like it's something so powerful. Something so powerful about it. Let's fantasize for a second. Let's say you have this is the ultimate fantasy, right? You're in control as always, as it should be, and all right, unlimited resources anywhere in the
Oh,
world.
I
You
like
could do
that.
let's think. Let's sit back and think about
Let me away from my son. There we go.
what is this ultimate fantasy that you have? Ultimate femdom kink fantasy. What would you do? Endless resources, living or dead, people. Let your fantasy run wild, real quick.
So I want a castle. um, when I was young, I was very young. I don't know where this video was. I was probably like 14 years old. And this woman is sitting on a throne, and it's never left my mind. And it is my fantasy. Like it's literally my fantasy. To have all my slaves in cages, all the males are wearing just like cloth. And I'll tell you why I don't want them naked. I don't want your naked butt on my face or my floor. So I want it covered until I don't want it covered. And all my females are dressed in very sheer, like linen that's completely see through, but gives you a feeling of having something on. And all my slaves, my women, have bejeweled collars on their necks because even female slaves are far more valuable and useful to me than all you males. And I have all my male slaves crawling on the floor, and some are standing there serving me. And something that I've always really wanted to explore is my own sexual fantasies around having slaves and having them my own deciding factor. This is where my own deciding SPF come SPH is having all these slaves and deciding which ones are to be used for my pleasure, which ones are to be eunuchs, which ones are my wallets, which ones are work outside, which ones work inside. But I own you all and everything is mine. You're all
It
my
reminds me
pets.
that reminded me of History of the World Part One with Madeline Kahn. Have you ever seen that? She plays like a Cleopatra esque type, and there's all the men for the orgy. She's picking out, and she's going no, 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 yes, no, no,
Yes.
no, no. If you can see it, check it out. Madeline Kahn is amazing. Rest in peace.
I'll give
Absolutely
you
incredible.
one. Miss Tara has it's an old video that she did. It's kind of she's got a couple, one with like an aliens theme set to it, but this one is just this woman laying on a bed and all these different men like massaging her, and but they're all just basically standing there. They're all meant for her pleasure. They're all bulls and they're just waiting. Nobody moves, nobody speaks, rubbing her feet, rubbing her body, not until she gives a signal or, just whatever it is, because we're not like men. It's not the same. Having multiple men isn't the same as me wanting to just fuck a bunch of women. I want this really serene and just sensual and just beautiful experience that is 100% about me and what I want and when I want it. And your pleasure matters none, which is why your orgasms matter none unless they are useful.
Stan Vladimir asks, speaking of blood fetish, have you tried to have a session where you dress up as a vampire?
I must admit, I have not done a session where I dressed up as a vampire. However, that doesn't mean I won't. I would love to dress up like yourself.
Here's an
Starvation
interesting
fetish?
question that no one's asked. Yeah, do you like starvation fetish goddess? Have you ever made a slave beg for food? This is asked by PD.
I'm so bad.
Wait, are you saying you
Now,
have or you
why?
don't know?
Why? While I have not engaged in that, it's not because I wouldn't. However, it so when I get asked these questions, I always have to ask myself, what's my moral compass on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I put you into starvation and take all of your money and leave you eating cat food, then you're not going to be very useful to me. And so why do I want that? So begging me for food, yes. Would I do that for days on end? Put you in a cage and lock you up and not let you eat because you pissed me off and leave you out in the rain? Yes. And will I love it? Yes. Am I going to do that to someone for years on end? Probably not. I would use that as a punishment training kind of thing. I'll do it for weeks, but I want that to have an end.
I have a missed question. In hypnotism, how do you use your techniques? Let's say you're not going around hypnotizing the person who makes you coffee at Starbucks, are you? Can
No.
you?
Technically you can.
But
There's actually a
I
man
know
who went to jail for that. He
really.
hypnotized yeah, there's a video on it. They teach it to you when you go through hypnosis. He hypnotized gas station clerks, hypnotized grocery stores, hypnotized bank tellers just giving him the money out of the register. He goes to buy his groceries. The woman gives him all the money in her register. He walks out the store. It's on camera. And then she's just the next person is like, you just you just gave him your money. And the woman looks completely out of it. Yeah, I can't remember his name right now, but there's an actual. It was in the early '80s, I believe, is when it was. So you can absolutely. It's called conversational hypnosis, and what it is covert. It's sometimes called conversational, sometimes called covert. That's what you see. Let's talk about Get Out when she's using that
The spoon.
the spoon, clinking the glass. You're going to make it happen every time in the same way, but that's not all you've had to do. It's the way you're talking, the calmness, to get that person to focus. It feels good to talk to me, doesn't it? You like the sound of that? The more yeses you get, the more somebody drops. So in the movie, yeah, could it be done? Yes. Did they really go through it in a hypnosis way? Not really, but that can actually be done. I could hypnotize somebody with a glass. I can hypnotize them by shaking your hand.
Off camera, I got to tell you a story, which I want you definitely get a kick out of. But I
Oh,
can't. I don't
yay.
want to broadcast about it. But it'll be fun.
Oh, yay.
All right, we're almost done. We're almost done. Rapid fire
Oh.
recommendations. The rapid fire recommendations. They don't have to be kink related, but they can be. Recommend a film.
Ooh, film. What's my favorite film lately? I'm really into Korean dramas right now.
Okay.
And anime. Always
All right.
been into anime. That book on the table, bring it to me, please. So really good movie that I've recently seen that I'm really into. I am going to throw everyone into Japanese animation and say, what was it called? The Alchemy of the Souls. It's actually a series.
Okay.
It's not really a movie. It's super long, but I loved it. So there's that. I also really like that dungeon show that she goes in and she takes everybody's furniture. It's an English woman. Yeah, that's so fun.
There's so many people that I know who would really benefit from her in that show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
books. I just think it's really important for people to realize oftentimes we don't recognize how we're talking. So taking it back to a book by Katie Murphy called You're Not Listening. If you don't listen, you don't understand. And I'm still processing through that book, but I recommend it highly. Another book I will always recommend is kink related. I probably recommended it last time too. I should have wrote these down before but Ethical Slut. This book is not meant for women. This book was referred to me by one of my patients. He's works with schizophrenia, and he is queer. So we were talking, and I'm working out the jaw from the party. We're having a good time. And he's telling me about this book, Ethical Slut. And I'm doing a massage and we're just having fun talking about this Ethical Slut book and why it's important for people to understand that sometimes in relationships, you can't tell your partner everything that you're doing, and you don't need to be ashamed about it. You don't need to be ashamed that there's something that you keep quiet. You don't need to be ashamed if you want to be fucked by the entire football field. It's for everybody, and it really helps you to understand a little bit more about yourself and how to engage in relationships, kinky or not, how to talk about sexual relationships. So I think it's really, really great book.
I've had a couple ethical sluts on the show. I've been donned an ethical slut myself.
Right.
From that book. Yes, I would agree. I think that you are too. Is it safe to say?
Yeah, I put it to the test one time before the book. Before I ever read the book, I was in a relationship, and I've also gone, sugar world, and all these worlds, and I was dating someone at one point, and I really cared about this person. We were very much in love, and I looked at that man one night and said, "I got to tell you something. I don't think you're gonna like very much." But I need to make more money than what I'm making right now. And I have the opportunity to go do that. And so I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to go and I'm going to go out with this person and I'm going to have this experience and they're going to pay me for whatever I do with that person. And you need to know I'm going to go do that. Because if you're not okay with it, then you need to know now. Because I don't want to hear about it after the fact. It was the end of my relationship. But that's okay. Because you're an idiot.
All right, we got the game, the word association game. I'm going to say a word or a phrase. You say the first thing that comes to your head, okay? So we played this before, but like, this is new. It changes everything, you know? This is I'm off the top of my head, too. So I'm in the same boat, you and I. You know? So if I say chastity, you may say lock. But if, let's say you're thinking about anime. If I say chastity, you could say anime. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Rope.
Ooh, bondage.
Pegging.
Oh, chastity.
Puppy play.
Ooh. Leashes.
Splashing.
Oh, strawberries and whipped cream.
Fire play.
Oh, cupping.
Okay. Needle play.
Oh, I can't think of the name of it. Ladder, something ladder. What? Jacob's ladder.
Jacob's Ladder. It's a good movie. French
It
maid
also looks
outfits.
really good going up your penis.
French maid outfits.
Bimbo slut, hypno. Hypno, bimbo slut.
Bastinado.
Ooh, feet.
Yes. Foot worship.
Ooh, goddess.
Ass worship.
Ooh, goddess.
Chastity.
Oh, pets.
Spike chastity.
Ooh, long-term pet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love those spike cages. I'm not joking.
I can see. Blood play.
Oh yes. Sexy as fuck.
Scarification.
Branding.
The daddy baby girl dynamic.
Overplayed.
The 50s housewife dynamic.
Never gets old. Only if it's a guy doing it. Ah, sissy.
Sissification.
Yes.
The 50s housewife. Oh, okay. Ah. You'd be happy to know that I vacuumed 3 floors locked in chastity wearing a dress a couple weeks ago.
This is not about you. Very good.
Oh, I thought you were doing that to me. Like,
No.
What did he do that
This
made you
one
say
over
this
here.
is not about you? Yeah.
Oh, he changed positions. He had this entire time, he's had his face licking the bottom of my shoe, but his cock is hard now, and he thinks something's going to happen with it. And so now that I have his cock over here, we'll just do this. Put your legs down. Put your legs down. Put your legs down. Say what? What do you say?
Thank you, mistress.
Okay, that was that. Don't
And
move.
with that being said,
See, that's how you top from the bottom. I tell you to come. I put you in position. I'm enjoying having you licking the bottom of my shoes and sucking on my heel while I'm having my conversation. And then you flip yourself over and put your cock in my face. So you think I'm going to step on it for you. Then you get my cake. So fun. So fun. So yeah,
Oh, I love
that's
this
me.
so much.
So do I.
Okay, so with that being said, a lot of people are getting taken off. Twitter is becoming X, Instagram, stuff like that. It's like the Wild West out there. So, what
Yeah.
is the best way to contact you? How do people find you? How do people contact you? How do people give you money?
Cash app.
What is it?
So the best ways to reach me is obviously my website, kayaanais.com. It's always the easiest and best way to reach me. On my website, I have my phone number listed, so you can actually call me. And when you do call me, what I'm going to do is give you about 5 to 10 minutes. It's really quick and easy for me to figure out if someone's masturbating, and I will end the call. But I think it's important to be able to say hello and find out who I am and know the person that you're talking to. I'm also old school. I was around before the internet. So I'm not really I like to throw things up on social media, and if you want to know where I'm going to be, I usually post that there. But the best way to reach me is just to send me an email, just to call me and say I've been listening to you. I might be scared, but I'd love to find out how to go about talking to you more. Then I send you to my night flirt where you can text me and you can call me. A night flirt's the only place I really have. I have all of them. I really admire and have so much aspiration to be like these women, be like my fellow dominants who can keep track of Sex Panther, fangirls, fucking OnlyFans, Night Flirt, Instagram, Insta this, Skype this. I can't do it. I have 2 grandchildren, 3 adult children, a huge dog, cat. It's a lot. I do a lot of traveling. My life is a lot. So I have a hard time keeping even to my night flirt schedule because I might get a session when I would have been on night flirt. But I love my night flirt people, and I love talking on night flirts. You can always find me on night flirt. You can always find me through my website. You can send me a text message. You might find that I do have a delay in responses. Gosh, I'm working on getting better at that, but you find patience works best with me because I will eventually get back. Usually sometimes it takes a couple of days, especially if I'm traveling, because I travel from Humboldt to San Jose every month. And then for the last 2 years, 2.5 years, I was driving from Humboldt all the way to LA. And so just to give you an understanding, that's a 10-hour drive. That's a 10-hour drive when you don't stop. So when I go to San Diego, where I lived for 15 years previously to moving here, that's a 14-hour drive. You don't make those drives and then come home and and want to talk. Like I need some days. So my schedule's in flux all the time, and so if you reach out to me, you'll get a response because I love this. I love what I do, and I love talking to my pets, and I love the new
That's
ones
why I
because
love talking with you. I love,
yeah, I love the new
I
and the old
absolutely
ones.
love talking with you. And thank you so much. Thank you very much for taking your time, your precious time, to talk with us. And hopefully, someone will give you some money.
Ooh. Oh yes,
um,
Cash App, Venmo. It's all on my website. My wish list, my wish tender, that site got taken down, so I don't have that anymore. That's supposed to be for us, and they took it down. So usually you can go to my Amazon. Everything to reach me is on kayaanais.com. Everything.
and people can contact me at Your Kinky Friends. Please subscribe and like
Yes,
and spread
subscribe.
spread the word. We do this for the love, people. That's why it looks like this. We do it for love, and we do it because we're true to ourselves. So please, go support us. Follow me on Twitter, Nicholas Tannick. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Your Kinky Friends or Nicholas Tannick. Just look it up. You can find me. I'm there. Buy my books. Your Kinky Friends.
Yes.
The coolest way to kill yourself and chip black nail polish. They're all true. They're true stories filled with drugs
I'm gonna
and
get your
sex.
book. Yes.
I'll send it. Yes.
Oh, I need to talk with you about ghostwriting.
Oh,
after
please
this.
do.
Yeah.
That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite topics. Oh, we do. We have much to talk about. So,
Yeah.
the audience, we're gonna cuckold the audience right now by
Bye
going off and doing our own
bye.
thing.
We have
Please follow
Facebook
me.
too, but I never am on it.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the Wild West out there.
It is.
Everybody, please have a great night. Remember the cardinal rule: be cool, be kind, keep an open mind. Take care.
And consent.